Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about some treasurer training information. Lori and Nick are here. We're going to take turns telling you a little bit more about being a treasurer on campus. We want to ensure that you understand the policies and procedures and review some of the nuts and bolts of submitting check requests, budget transfers, and things like that. First though, I want to review some of the information about general information about fundraisers and purchasing, because this impacts treasurers quite a bit. You're the one your organization is going to turn to find out how to submit check requests, how to get reimbursed, and what they can or cannot purchase. We go into a little bit more detail about this in the general student leader workshop, but today I just want to give you like a general overview, run through really quickly some of the fundraising, design approvals, and purchasing procedures. So just as a reminder, each organization is allowed to host 2 fundraisers per quarter. Proceeds get deposited in your class or org account. Please don't deposit it in your personal account and then write a check back to us. You can accept credit cards online through the portal. Please do not use Square, QuickPay, Venmo, PayPal to ever repay somebody for anything. Do not purchase any items you plan to sell as a fundraiser with personal funds. You cannot get reimbursed for those. When you are ready to run a fundraiser or collection drive, you submit that using the event create event form Pulse page. When you select the option for fundraisers, you'll be given choices of whether or not you need a table or cash box or an online sales setup. We do require this to make sure that we don't have 2 groups doing the same thing at the same time, and we want to make sure you lose money. If you're planning a fundraiser that hasn't gone well in the past, we want to talk about it before you get too far into the process. If you're going to do in-person sales, you can sell in Centennial Hall, the Commons, the 24-hour room of the library, and Redwood. Anytime you're getting anything imprinted, whether it's clothing, mugs, plaques, custom banners, we need to get the design approved by university administration. The design approval form is available on the SAO Pulse page, and there's more information on there about the standards and requirements in order to get your design approved when you're using the Midwestern trademark or whether you're not using the trademark. So please check that for more details. In that form, you'll upload your artwork for approval. You cannot order or start selling anything until your design is approved. Once the design is approved, we'll save it on your organization Pulse page for future use. So the general process when you're running a fundraiser. So the first thing you're going to do is get your design approved. If it's a repeat design from this year, you can check your Pulse page for approvals. Any designs from years prior to 2020 need to get approved again by administration. Then next thing you're going to do is register your fundraiser by creating an event on your organization Pulse page. Once that is complete, you can contact the vendor for pricing. So if your item has a Midwestern trademark on it, so the name, the seal, any of our college names or program names, you have to use Matthews for your vendor. If it does not have Midwestern on it, you're allowed to use an outside vendor, but they have to be one of our approved vendors. When we approve your design, we'll let you know whether or not you can use an outside vendor and provide a list of vendors that are available for you. Once your vendor has given you your pricing, you can set your price online through the sale or in person and start selling. Once your sale has closed and your order is complete, you'll contact the vendor with your final order. Give them all the quantities, colors, sizes that you need. Your vendor should then give you a sales order or quote. Please, at this point, check that very carefully to make sure it's accurate, because if there's a mistake at this point, then it's on the organization to fix it, not the vendor. You'll take that sales order and quote, and you'll upload it to the purchase order request form on Pulse, and that's another form on the SAO Pulse page. We generate a purchase order that gets sent to the vendor. The vendor creates the projects, and then creates the items, and they ship it to student services. We check all the items to make sure they're accurate, and then we take that invoice or packing slip and submit it for payment to the vendor. If for some reason you're picking up the items in person, please remember that you need to send an invoice or packing slip to our office. Otherwise, the vendor will not get paid. Please share this with any other members who might be ordering shirts or clothing on your behalf, just to make sure they're aware of the procedure. So we have a few ways that we purchase items on behalf of organizations. So I'm going to review those like kind of 4 purchasing options with you now. So we've talked about this a little bit. A purchase order is essentially a guarantee to pay. We use purchase orders anytime we're purchasing physical items, anything customized, anything that's for a fundraiser that's going to be sold by the organization. So we don't use it if we're paying for a service like a DJ or a CPR instructor. When you get to the purchase order request form on Pulse, you'll see these options: Matthews, other vendor, Amazon, national merchandise from your national organization, etc. You'll select one of those options, and then you'll also see on there that the some of these, there's some linked documents that give you, so like when you're looking at this completed Amazon purchasing form needed. Amazon purchasing form is a linked document. When you click on that, it'll give you the form that you need to fill out so that we can make that purchase for you on Amazon. The only thing to also note about Amazon is that we do have a Prime membership, but keep in mind that it has to go through a couple of steps before it actually gets to Amazon. So you won't get your items through Amazon from us in 2 days. It's probably more like 4 to 5 days. So allow yourself enough time to do this. If you feel like your order is more complicated or you can't save your cart or information, it's too customized, please make an appointment with the Student Activities office to make that purchase, and we'll do that with you or online through the computer. Through a virtual meeting platform. The other ways that we can pay for things, one is a check request. This is on the SAO Pulse page. This is a form that is only available to treasurers, and these are for, this is when we're cutting a check to an organization. So this is when we're paying for a service like a CPR class DJ, if you have to pay dues to a national organization, if you're making a donation to a charity, you would use a check request form on the SAO Pulse page. The purchasing part is a university credit card. So we use this pretty often, kind of on the back end, to make purchases on behalf of clubs, and that gets charged back to your student organization account. We do this for online orders. A lot of group dining gets paid for on the credit card. Sometimes, depending on what you're doing, we can also go shopping locally with you. Just make an appointment with your student activities staff, and we'll head out with you. And then the last way that you can pay for things is when a student pays out of pocket and gets reimbursed. So the student's going to submit that expense report to you, and this is what we're going to review today as how that actually works. You can get reimbursed for things like food, plates, miscellaneous supplies, you're buying poster boards, that kind of thing. If you're unsure, please ask before you go out and purchase something. Your faculty advisors cannot be reimbursed in your organization account, so please don't ask them to purchase on your behalf. Please never reimburse with cash. All your transactions should run through the organization account. Don't allow somebody to reimburse another student with cash that you're collecting through a fundraiser. It leads to problems down the road because people don't remember that they do or don't get, whether or not they did get reimbursed. And as a reminder, you cannot get reimbursed for fundraiser items or custom imprinted items. And just also to emphasize the point, any purchases made on behalf of your student organization or class must follow the Midwestern or Student Activities Office purchasing policies and procedures that we just reviewed with you. If you do not adhere to these policies, we cannot guarantee that you'll be reimbursed or that your items will be approved. So if you're unsure, please just ask first. And we have a few questions for you now, just to emphasize some of these key points. And then I'm going to turn it over to Nick, who's going to run through the reimbursement expense report process with you.